right, we're back here. Who had the worst Sunday? Let's sprinkle in a little negativity. Who do we want to laugh at? Who do we want to make fun of? Ruiz, lead us off. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with the team that lost to Jacoby Brissett, who had to replace Drake May after he took a helmet-to-helmet shot. I think what makes this game worse from a Jets perspective is the fact that they played really well on offense. Like, they played one of their more complete games on offense in terms of EPA, in terms of success rate. They outgained the Patriots by 2 yards per play. They had the higher EPA, the higher success rate. They had a positive EPA in both the ground game and the pass game. So the firing of Robert Saleh clearly hasn't worked. They've given up 62 points to Russell Wilson and Jacoby Brissett over the last 2 games. The defense has been the reason they've lost these games. But the move away from Nathaniel Hackett has yielded the results that they wanted when they made the shift. And they've really leaned into the Aaron Rodgers aspects of the offense. They have a 91% shotgun rate since the firing. So for the last 3 weeks, they are they are fourth in explosive play rate. They are 10th in EPA per play since then. So the offense has kind of turned around, but now the defense is the problem. And we're at the point, what are they, 2-5 now? We're at the point where it's too late. They are 2-6 now. We're at the point where it's too late. Even if this offense does rebound, even if it does play like a top 10 offense, which I think is its ceiling, I don't think it's going to be any better than that. I don't think they're going to be able to make up enough ground in the AFC East. I don't think they're going to be able to make enough ground in the wild card race. And there's still a tremendous amount of pressure on a quarterback on the wrong side of 40 who's coming off a major Achilles injury. If the defense can't get better, I don't know how the defense is going to get better. This secondary has regressed. The pass rush has been a question mark all season long, and it hasn't gotten any better over the last couple of weeks since Saleh's firing. So I don't know where this team goes from here. I mean, I guess they can hang a banner for, hey, we might finish with a top 10 offense over the second half of the season. We finally figured out the Aaron Rodgers offense, but that's as much as they're going to get this season.
I mean, Woody Johnson has egg on his face here. I mean, just look at his comments and again, I'm not like Robert Saleh with Vince Lombardi and how dare you fire him. I understand firing Robert Saleh, but look at what Woody Johnson said at the time, that this team is too talented and we cannot reach our potential with Robert Saleh. So we're going to a new coach. You have since lost 3 games in a row. They have not won a game since that firing. And to your point, Ruiz, the defense has taken a step back, in my opinion, which was predictable because not only are you losing Robert Saleh, but you're taking the defensive coordinator in Jeff Ulbrich and making him the head coach. And now he's got to manage stuff, and he didn't do a great job managing stuff today either. There was some Aaron Rodgers yelling at the sideline here today. So, yeah, it feels like—
Didn't they burn all 3 timeouts like early in the first half as well?
Yeah, that was one of my favorite graphics of the day. Let me see here. Yes, there was a graphic that came up on the broadcast that said Jets, 3 timeouts, 4 penalties, 1 missed extra point. With 13:45 left in the second quarter, this is what they had. I mean,
they also took a delay of game before the 2-point conversion that would have stretched them to 7, and that set up the game-winning drive. And then they also had the most cowardly 4th and 1 decision of the week, I would say. Yeah. It was 4th and less than a yard from the 10-yard line or the 11-yard line, and they go for a 29-yard field goal instead of trying to punch it in for 6. I don't get it. When you're a team that's so desperate and you need these explosive plays. You need I don't want to bring up the momentum thing from this past week, but I do think you need those moments to turn the season around. They're just not getting them. They're not even trying for them.
Yeah, they've lost 5 in a row, Diante. And this, I mean, 2-6. It feels over, right? I mean, 7. What are they going to go? 8-1, 7-2. They're not good enough to do that.
And they've lost games that they have no business losing. You can't lose games like this. You can't lose a Broncos game. You've burnt up all of the margin for error. You burnt up basically before you even fired your head coach in the first place. And then you went and doubled down and tried to bring in a high-level receiver. And I will say, to Steven's point, this is the most comfortable I think we've seen Aaron Rodgers look in New York. Up to this point, we saw him pushing the ball down the field much more effectively. Some of the accuracy issues that we had seen over the last 2 to 3 weeks, we really didn't see today. I thought that he worked the middle of the field well. He took his chances up the seam pretty well when those presented themselves too. And the running game looked a little bit more stable and healthy than it had in weeks prior. And I think that maybe the mark of an unserious team is one that just cannot play complementary football to save its life. And that has been the story for these 3 weeks and these 3 losses in a row. Is something has gone wrong for this team, whether it's the defense giving up big plays. That's basically been the story for the last couple of weeks now. This coverage unit has been banged up. And even when they were healthy, you could start to see some of the signs of slippage. Losing games like this just makes it clear that, like you said, Woody Johnson has 100% misunderstood what this team needed in order to be its best. That's not to say that Robert Saleh would have been undefeated over this stretch that they've been losing all these games, but they've clearly done nothing but take a step back defensively, and that was supposed to be the bedrock of this team, and all they really needed Aaron Rodgers to do was be a ceiling raiser, and now what we're looking at is a 40-plus-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles that has to be a superhero. And that's never been a recipe for success.
It's been 5 weeks since this team beat New England, the team that played on Sunday, by 21 points. It looks like a worse team. It looks like a far worse football team. That team was 2-1 at the time. Now they're 2-6. And the issues go beyond even the defense and the offense. The special teams really let them down today. I mean, you could add in the 2-point play, the delay of game into the special teams. But also Greg Zuerlein misses a 44-yard field goal. He misses an extra point. Those points proved costly in a game that ended up being decided by 3 points.
Yeah, they're 1-4 in one-score games. It's interesting to think about in the offseason, if they would have just switched the offensive coordinator and been able to come up with some resolution there and started the season with someone other than Nathaniel Hackett. What does this look like? I don't know. Maybe they win a couple of those games and we're not saying their season is cooked. They're not getting blown out. It's not like they're a disaster, but my goodness, 2-6 is too deep of a hole to dig out of.